You know that feeling when you're dizzy, unsteady, just off? And it's not for a day, but for weeks, maybe even months, and there's just no clear explanation. You go to the doctors, you do all the tests, and they all come back normal. It's so frustrating, right? It can feel really isolating. But what if the problem isn't something you can even see on a scan? What if it's more like a glitch in the system?
That right there, that's the key question. It's what unlocks one of the most common and, honestly, one of the most misunderstood balance disorders out there. Just think about it for a second. Your brain is like this incredibly powerful computer, right? It's running all this complex software just to keep you upright. So what happens when that software gets a bug?
Okay, and it is so important that we get this next point right away. When we say it's a functional disorder, we are not saying it's psychogenic or that it's all in your head. Not at all. We're talking about a real, genuine disorder in the way your nervous system is functioning. The hardware is fine. The signals are being sent, but the processing, it's just going haywire.
And that brings us to the official name for this condition, persistent postural perceptual dizziness, or PPPD for short. This is our software glitch. It's basically a condition where your brain's central processing unit gets stuck in this high alert mode. It keeps misinterpreting balance signals, even long after the initial physical thing, the hardware problem, that first triggered it is long gone.
So you're probably wondering, how does a glitch like this even start? Well, it almost never just appears out of the blue. It's usually born from a kind of collision, a perfect storm between two very different things, a physical hardware injury and a software processing error. Let's really break this down. On one hand, you've got the hardware injury. This is a real physical event that messes with your balance system. But then, on the other hand, you have the software error. This is the brain's failure to kind of update its operating system after that injury. So PPPD is what happens when the brain gets stuck in that high alert injury mode, even after the hardware starts to heal. It's the error that keeps going that defines this whole thing, not the initial problem.
And these hardware triggers, they're very real, very concrete medical events. We're talking about things like, say, an inner ear infection, vestibular neuritis, or maybe you've had BPV, where the little crystals in your ear get displaced. It could be a concussion, a traumatic brain injury, or even something like a vestibular migraine. Any one of these can be that initial shock to the system, the thing that kicks off the software glitch.
Okay, so if we're sticking with this idea that PPPD is a software error, then what are the symptoms? Well, think of them as the error codes that keep popping up on your screen. They're not random at all. They're actually very specific messages telling us exactly how the system is malfunctioning.
And for this to be an official diagnosis, there's a really clear guideline from what's called the Bar-Ani Society. These symptoms we're talking about, that dizziness, the unsteadiness, they have to be there on most days for at least 3 months. So yeah, this isn't just a fleeting thing. It's a persistent state of being.
So what do these error codes look like? Well, there are 3 classic triggers. First up, just being upright. Standing, walking, that alone can bring on the dizziness and unsteadiness. Second, motion. Any kind of motion, really, whether you're moving your own head or you're just a passenger in a car. It brings on this weird, non-spinning vertigo. And third, and this one is a big one, complex visuals. Think about crowds, busy patterns on a carpet, or even just scrolling on your phone. It can cause this complete sensory overwhelm. It's literally the brain's faulty processor getting overloaded with too much data.
But wait, it goes even deeper than that. This little software glitch can produce some even stranger, you might even say bizarre, error messages. And these ones reveal just how deeply the brain's whole sensory integration system has been messed up.
For instance, there's something called visual snow. People will describe it as seeing the world through this filter of like flickering dots or TV static. Like an old, badly tuned television set. It's such a perfect illustration. It shows the processing error isn't just about balance. It's creating actual noise in the visual cortex of the brain.
Then you've got this really unsettling feeling of dissociation. You might hear people say they feel spaced out or detached from their own body, almost like they're watching a movie of themselves. What's causing that? It's a massive mismatch between the brain's internal map of where the body is supposed to be and the garbage data it's getting from the senses.
And here's maybe the most relatable one of all, what some people call supermarket syndrome. You might feel totally fine at home, right? But the second you walk into a grocery store, bam! The fluorescent lights, the busy patterns on the floor, all the people moving around, it's just too much. The brain's processor just crashes. It's a total system overload.
Okay, I know all of this can sound pretty bleak, but here's the turn. This is the most important part of this whole explainer, because this is a software problem
It means the software can be fixed. We can actually reboot the system. We can teach the brain how to process information the right way again.
See, the old way of treating this was something called habituation, which is basically just telling people, hey, just get used to being dizzy. And no surprise, it usually failed because it never fixed the root processing error. But the new approach, the one that actually works, is all about adaptation. It's an active process where we literally force the brain to respond differently by going right after that core sensory integration problem.
And this therapy has 3 main steps. Step 1, you have to break the brain's over-reliance on vision. So you do exercises that actually take vision away or mess with it, forcing the brain to stop using sight as a crutch. Step 2, you amplify the signals coming from your body. It's called somatosensation. You're basically turning up the volume on the reliable data. And finally, step 3, you put it all together to recalibrate sensory trust. You're teaching the brain to start trusting the body's signals again, instead of that faulty visual information.
But there is one more absolutely critical piece to this puzzle. You can't just fix the mechanics of the system without also addressing the mind. The final, crucial step is neutralizing the fear that's gotten all tangled up with these physical sensations.
Here's the thing you have to get. Anxiety is the fuel that keeps this whole glitch running. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire. Every single time you feel that dizzy sensation, your brain screams, danger! And that fear, it keeps the high alert software glitch running in a vicious, endless loop. Breaking that cycle isn't just an option. It's absolutely non-negotiable if you want to recover. And this idea really gets to the heart of it. The whole goal is to reframe the entire experience. That feeling of dizziness, it's not a signal of imminent danger, it's just a false alarm. Think of it as an error message popping up, not a critical threat warning.
And that, right there, is why just understanding what's happening is so powerful. When you can truly, deeply grasp that this is just a glitch, the fear starts to lose its grip. And neutralizing that fear, well, that's what finally lowers the brain's defenses. It creates the opening needed for neuroplasticity to kick in, and it allows all that sensory recalibration therapy to actually stick.
So let's end with this thought. The very existence of PPPD is proof that our brains can learn a faulty pattern. But here's the beautiful part. That same incredible, amazing ability to learn and adapt is also the key to the solution. It proves that with the right approach, the brain has this profound capacity to unlearn its mistakes, to recalibrate, and to heal itself.